Please follow our Instagram.
This tumbler right here was actually my first few projects that I actually used Crystalac with. As you can see, the seal is actually broken or possibly was not sealed properly, and thus water was able to seep in. So right now I'm actually going to strip the tumbler and then do a whole new tumbler all over again. So the first thing I do is obviously to strip the tumbler. So I'm using acetone, and then I wrap it in a paper towel, and then I put it in the Ziploc bag for at least 15 to 20 minutes. So my advice here is not to leave the tumbler in the paper towel that's soaked with acetone for too long, because acetone will eventually dry up and it is as good as not putting any acetone on it. When you prep your tumbler, this is how it's going to look like. It's going to be very difficult to actually get rid of it. So here I'm actually using my X-Acto knife to help me scrape off the universal white. After that, you wash your tumbler with soap, and here I am coating my tumbler with universal white. So this is my first coat of universal white, and I want it to be as thin as possible, and it does not matter if it's streaky because I'm going to put glitter on this, so you don't have to be perfect with the coating of the universal white. So I didn't really have to wait long for the universal white to dry because the layer is thin. So next I'm going to use Brite tone, a very thin coat of Brite tone as well, to act as an adhesive for my glitters to stick on. After coating my tumbler with the glitter, I will immediately spray E6000 onto my tumbler, and be careful when you're spraying this because the glitters tend to fly everywhere. And then I will tap lightly using my fingers so that my glitters will lay flat on the tumblers. So the reason for the E6000 is actually to put a second layer of glitter because there are some parts that are not covered well. So I know that not everyone is a fan of E6000. Sometimes I'm not a fan of E6000, sometimes I am. The alternative is to actually wait for the Brite tone to dry, and then you can coat another layer of Brite tone and then re-sprinkle your glitters. Then it's like a step you have to take and a little bit of a waiting time. So I will usually help my glitters to lay as flat as possible. So after that, I do my first coat of Brite tone. So this is how it will look like after you have flattened your glitters. And then after that, I put on my second coat of Brite tone. And then my third coat of Brite. So sometimes I feel very unsatisfied using brushes because, especially for chunky, so right here I'm using my fingers, and then after that's dried, I'm going to sand my tumbler using 1000 grit, and as you can see at the bottom is not covered again. So if you want to cover it with glitters again, you will have to put another layer of Brite and then glitter. But for me, I am just going to sand down, and usually after dry sanding I will wet my sandpaper and then I will sand down. Then again, please do not wet your whole entire tumbler or do not sand for too long because the Brite is not cured yet. And then I give it a quick rinse and then I put my Brite. So at this point I'm actually ditching my brush and using my finger, and I feel like the disadvantage of using a finger is that I tend to put a little bit too much of Brite. And then after 3 to 4 hours, I put another layer of Brite. I'm guessing you guys can't actually tell, but I'm actually using too much Brite when I am using my fingers. After that, I do a second round of sanding using 1000 grit sandpaper. So this is the important part. You have to sand down at the top of the tumbler, because if you were to do it only when you're packing your tumbler, then there's a chance that the seal may be broken and then water may seep in. So this is how it looks like after you've sanded down your glitter. It looks a little bit dull, but it will shine up all over again once you put another layer of Brite. I can actually feel bumps on the tumbler, so if I were to put vinyls now, the vinyls will actually look like it's on a rocky road. So I still need a couple more layers of Brite. So I'm putting another coat of Brite. So here I'm just preparing my Waterslide and vinyl. So I cannot really show you the photo of the Waterslide because it's copyright, but we all know the character. And I have cut out my vinyls. I love to keep all these little tiny scraps of vinyls because it is useful for future use, and I will show you on my next video, hopefully. I also like to use press and seal for my transfer tape because it is less sticky. It will not pull my uncured Brite. Oh yes, I've already sealed my Waterslide 3 times with Rust-Oleum clear spray before cutting it with my Cricut. For the screw lid tumblers, you should always screw the lid first before putting on the decals. So if you guys have any tutorial in mind that you want me to do, please leave in the comment section down below so that I can make my own list. And then another coat of Brite. Wait 3 to 4 hours and then another coat of Brite. And then another coat of Brite. I'm sorry guys, I had to speed this up. So after the last coat, I let the tumbler rest for 2 weeks, and when I came back to it, I realized that like I could feel the vinyl with my hands. So I believe that this is the result of me doing a thick coat of Brite tone with my fingers, because usually when I use my brush, I do not have this issue. Also, if you look at the glitter part, you can see that it's not smooth. So use thin coats no matter how tempted you are. So this is how it looks like after I've sanded down and did a couple of layers. And that's the end of the video. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. And also don't forget to share. Bye bye.
That's right.